Hello, I'm Nicole Devon and I just got back from an awesome stay at the Princess Resorts in Playa del Carmen. So I thought I'd do a quick Q&A to answer some of your questions about the resorts. Which Princess Resorts do you mean? So the Grand Sunset Princess and the Grand Riviera Princess, they're both on the same premise. You have access to everything from both resorts, all the same like bars, restaurants, and they're just two mirror resorts. One's just sort of geared more towards kids. How long is the shuttle from the airport? It is about 45 minutes each direction, and on the way there they sell Corona, on the way back they do not. What is the Wi-Fi like? The Wi-Fi was great. It was free and really fast in the rooms, but there wasn't a lot for resort coverage. So we figured that out on the first day when I was trying to FaceTime my partner and he wasn't getting the messages and I didn't know why. I thought he just was drunk at the bar. So be aware of that. What type of beer do they serve? Dos Equis, and it's on tap and it's not impressive. Like, I love beer, especially Mexican beer, and it was kind of warm, kind of heavy, so I honestly just didn't drink any beer while I was there. Where do you get a good coffee? The coffee in the restaurants I found wasn't horrible. Like, I don't have very high standards, I just like it dark, but they have incredible coffee at the lobby bars upstairs or in the main open bar where they have the shows at night. They have like premium espresso makers and I was able to order really nice Americanos. Should you bring pesos or dollars? In retrospect, we wish that we had brought a lot of $1 bills. We came with Canadian money, which is mostly coins, and so for us to get pesos, the lowest denomination that we were getting was 20 pesos, which is like almost $1.50 Canadian, which we felt was a lot to tip with all the time. So we wish we could have tipped with $1. And the other thing is, you will not find change for pesos. They won't give you 20 pesos, 10 pesos. They have, I think, a bit of like a cartel. Cartel is the wrong word. Yeah, they have a bit of an organization not to give out that small change, I think, so people feel inclined to tip with bigger money. So don't go there expecting to get change for your pesos. I highly recommend bringing a stack of US dollars. What electrical outlets do they have? We were really happy to find out they have regular North American outlets. You don't need a converter. There's plenty of them in the room. You couldn't charge everybody's phone at the same time. It was not a problem, not even a consideration. Is it hard to get clean water? We got 4 liters of bottled water in our room every day, so we found that that was enough for us. And if you don't use your water at the end of the day, we would just kind of hide them so that they would bring us more for sure. At the bars, they're also using really fresh water, like new bottled water, so you don't have to worry for either like the ice or just water or things that they're blending the drinks with. How many restaurants do they have? They have 5 buffets and 8 a la carte restaurants. Now, 2 of those restaurants you do have to pay for, but plenty of free dining options. How long does it take to walk the length of the resort? It takes about 10 minutes if you are walking with a purpose. If you're a bit of a loiterer, it could take you up to 20 minutes. And the other thing is, it's really stroller and wheelchair friendly everywhere except for obviously the sandy beach. We had no problems getting our stroller around there. What are the gym hours? They are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and they have like lots of yoga classes, Pilates, all sorts of things that I didn't do while I was there. What do you do if you have a medical issue? So I was actually really excited to know they have a 24-hour doctor on site. We went with a 9-month-old, so that definitely made us feel a lot more comfortable. Do you have to get up early to get a lounge chair? Unfortunately, yes. It is horrific. This was my worst experience of the hotel, is that everybody is poaching chairs with towels. They're not even used towels. They're like brand new, unfolded. They sit there all day long. And so we were driving around with a newborn in a stroller and we couldn't find a place to sit, and I was getting very ticked off. So yes, if you want a chair, you should either get up at 6 a.m. and stake one out, or at one point we just started taking the towels off the chairs if people hadn't been there. Is there too much seaweed on the beach? I personally didn't even notice the seaweed. Like, My standards aren't as high as everybody else's, because when I came back, everybody was talking about how there was so much seaweed in the pictures. To me, unless the seaweed is in the ocean and like tickling your feet while you're swimming, I really don't care. So yes, there is a lot of seaweed. There's sort of like a big row of it, and you just step over it and go into the ocean, and it's fine. Like as far as like floating seaweed, I didn't find a lot. I found that it was like a very pleasant swimming experience. There were just a couple rocks, but not many. No seaweed tickling your toes, and like very little seaweed floating in the ocean. So I thought the beaches were great, but aesthetically, people just looking at them have had some complaints, I guess. I think it has a lot to do with the time of year and what's going on with the tides and stuff as well. What kind of water equipment is available? You have free access to snorkels and catamarans. And I thought that was pretty cool. On my last day, I paid to have a catamaran lesson, and then you're just allowed to take the catamarans out by yourself, which seemed really scary after my 30-minute lesson, but you're definitely welcome to do that. That's included in the all-inclusive. How is snorkeling? It is non-existent at the resort, unfortunately. That's maybe like the one reason I might not go back. I do love to snorkel. But yeah, no snorkeling offshore. Like, trust me, I would have been the first person to into the water if there was like a hint of anything to look at, but there really wasn't. The beaches are also very shallow. You can just walk out for forever. So for you to get into an area where you'd be kind of comfortable to snorkel, like there's enough depth for you, you're actually past the buoys, like the floaty markers. And I feel like it was such a busy waterfront, like there's jet skiers and parasailing and boats, that I really wouldn't have been comfortable to swim past the buoys, especially with just a snorkel out of the water. How are people dressed? Well, okay, first, I was really unhappy. There's a no shoes rule. So make sure you bring comfy shoes. I personally just love to be barefoot all the time. And I was, and nobody called me out on it, but I was probably the only barefoot person at the whole resort. And then other than that, people dressed up really fancy. Like, I was kind of celebrity spotting. I was like, I saw a couple people at the buffet of all places, and I thought it was like Vogue Fashion Week. And so I'd say, well, it wasn't the majority. There are definitely some very high fashion, like stunning people who were dressed to the nines, and I was more of just like a sundress and shoes if somebody was staring at me. How were the rooms? Our rooms were stunning. Our room, singular. We had a junior suite, and it was stunning. From the moment we walked in, everything looked exactly like the pictures. We were very, very impressed. The other thing is we had a crawling 9-month-old, and I was just so grateful. The floors were so clean. Like, he was just able to crawl everywhere, and I felt so comfortable. Normally with a hotel, you're just kind of like, I'm just gonna hold my baby the whole vacation, but it worked out beautifully. The other thing is they're very air conditioned. You can control fan air conditioning. We mostly just did a fan. You could make it very cold, much colder than I was comfortable with. We also had a jacuzzi, and the housekeeping was really nice. They give you like towel animals like bunnies and ducks, and you have a nice little sitting area. Honestly, they're just exactly like the pictures. We were very happy with our junior suite. Oh, and you do have a little terrace area, so a little table with 2 chairs, and that's huge. Although don't count on drying your clothes out there, because everything's so humid that nothing dries. Oh, the other thing I will say, which is more of a resort thing, is there's no mosquitoes. I only got 1 mosquito bite the whole time I was there. And that sounds awesome, but also we would see people driving around in golf carts, and they had like this powder that they would just poof, poof, poof into all the like plants and everything. And we assumed it was mosquito control. But yeah, totally not what you want your baby inhaling, but at least we didn't get any Zika while we were there. The big question everybody wants to know, is it worth it to upgrade to platinum? This is something that we thought we regretted. We thought, oh man, it would be worth that extra money. You're going to be closer to the beach. But once we got there and we started talking to some more people, we realized that the value really wasn't there. Everybody we spoke to who was either a part of like a wedding party or just normal like upgraded suite, they felt ripped off, I think was the general perception. So yes, if we go again, we will be doing the junior suite. So the next question, do they pressure you for timeshare sales? And the answer is no. So when you get off the plane, there's a bunch of people who will try to get your attention there, but they just recommend walk past them, go straight to the resort. And once you are in the resort, it is quite a free area. Like there's nobody pressured us except for one day. We went to the info booth where they have the schedules. And then one lady started chatting to us and we were kind of bored, and she asked us if we wanted to see a presentation, and we'd get to go to the chill out access and have a nice meal. And it was like day 6 at that point. We're like, yeah, let's go do something new. So we did it. It was okay. Like for me, I'd never had an experience like that before, so it was kind of on my bucket list. I can't say I would do it again. It was kind of like, it reminded me of like one of those Russian nesting dolls where you talk to one person, they don't convince you, so they pass you off to another person. I think we went through about like 6 people, then finally at the end they all come down, sit around you and try to convince you to buy this like outrageously expensive thing. Like we don't even look like the people that could afford that. I'm surprised they were wasting their time. But yeah, it was a bit uncomfortable. So I say skip it, probably. That's always the recommendation, but people always do it anyways. How is the entertainment? The entertainment at night was actually really great. Like they had some amazing performances. I had been to other resorts where they have sort of like an outdoor entertainment area. This was indoors, huge, has a bar, has tables between every few seats. Oh, baby. Yes, the entertainment was great. It was really nice for children too because they let all the kids sit at the front, so you could come late, still get a good seat, and the kids would kind of run around. Sometimes the actors would even come interact with them. I thought it was really nice. How convenient, because actually this brings us to the kids section of the video. Do they have playpens? We were told no. We went and asked the concierge if they had a playpen and they said no. However, I found online that people did pre-order what's called a play pack, and they would have a playpen and like some toys, and it would already be in the room when they got there. So I recommend doing that, but we were fine without one. And car seats, no car seats. They don't offer them at the resort. I have heard that maybe on demand some taxi drivers might bring them for you. Do they have high chairs? Yes, they had some really nice high chairs, and they would clean them and wrap them in saran wrap so that they were sterile by the time they came back to you. One thing is, not all of them have strap-in belts. So if you have a wiggly kid like this one, sometimes you had to watch them extra carefully. Do they have child minding? Yes, they have a free kids club for kids aged 4 to 12, and you could rent, you could order, you could schedule a babysitter for $15 US an hour, which we didn't try that service out. Are there many kids at the resort? Yes, there are so many kids. We had so much fun. Like they have separate kids sections, but we were always in the adult section, and everybody was so receptive. He was like a celebrity at the resort. Everybody loved him. We had so much fun. It was a really positive experience going with a child. Okay, and then the final note on the kids section is there is a lot of walking, and I found it hard to protect Jackson from the sun while we were walking. So one thing I would really strongly recommend is having a great umbrella on your umbrella stroller, because you will be putting on a lot of miles. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Nicole Devon. If you liked it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Hope to see you in the next video, and have a great vacation. Bye. Bye.